Good luck.
I just want to engage with the debate. Oh, yeah. Do you want
Oh,
to like
Cinn.
knock or not? I'll just like
So
okay, argument.
okay.
I could just give
No,
you.
sorry. Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Sorry about that. So you're gonna be holding the pro-choice for this one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So can you provide your justification for why abortion should be morally permissible?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say that the fetus can't be harmed. Unlike
The fetus.
some,
Whoa, the fetus can't be harmed. I'm sorry. So what definition do you hold to for harm?
yeah, it wouldn't really be so much as like a straightforward definition, right? I'm just gonna hold to like some theory of like non-identity, right? Right. So I'm just gonna hold that this fetus lacks like some sort of like I don't know mental interiority, right, in which it can't be harmed.
Yeah, so I don't hold to that definition. The definition I hold to is some kind of impairment of
This isn't my
health or
definition
some
of
kind of
harm.
well,
Yeah, this isn't my
it's the
definition of harm.
idea that it's the idea that you hold to. So I don't hold to that idea. My idea is that harm is some kind of impairment of health or damage of health. So if you can provide a rebuttal for my statement, then I'd be glad to hear.
Well, necessarily I wouldn't really have to because that isn't really a direct like argument against what I'm saying, right? So I would just say, right, in terms of mental interiority, which I can define if needed, but yeah, I would just say that obviously this feature is going to lack like this mental interiority, right? I could just take like some account of like non-identity. I can just say, well, under non-identity, this fetus actually can't be harmed since there isn't going to be a someone behind this subject to get harmed. Obviously, a subject can't be harmed if it fails to exist. It doesn't really matter what definition of harm you take.
Okay, but I don't hold to that definition again. And if you can
It's not a
provide me a
definition.
justification, well, again, I'm asking you. I don't hold to this idea of what harm is. If you can provide me a
It's
justification
not
for
an idea
why
of
I
harm.
should, if you can provide me with a justification of why I should, then I'd be glad to hear. That'd be glad
Yeah,
to
I
hear.
mean, again, it wouldn't. It's not really like a definition, right? But I mean, I could just say that, like, obviously, a conscious subject is. I could define, yeah, a conscious subject is just going to be like some like form of entity, however you take a person to be, that has this like mental interiority. Just going to be like some inner perspective or like first person perspective of a person. It's again going to be this someone behind like a body, however you take that to be, right? I'm going to say obviously because this fetus lacks this, it can't really be harmed, right? Again, this isn't really referring to an exact definition, right? It would just necessarily be there as a first person perspective. This fetus, I'd say, lacks this, right? This isn't really going to be merely down to any sort of like I don't know, like physical behavior or I don't know,
But
like
again,
life or inner life, I suppose. Or no, exterior life. Um,
okay, but again,
yeah.
sorry to cut you off there. What's the justification for this? How can a fetus not be harmed?
Yeah, I mean, I just say that I hold to this like sense of non-identity, right? So I just say that obviously something that is not within experience obviously cannot be harmed.
And what do you mean by not within this experience?
Experience, there is no such thing as deprivation, right? So when you make that, there's some form of deprivation. Obviously, if this fetus can fail to exist under an abortion, which it would, then obviously it wouldn't exist, so it can't really be deprived of anything if it doesn't really exist, unless you can make that
Wait,
argument.
wait, a fetus doesn't exist? Is that your
Nope.
argument?
No,
Okay, so
yeah.
the problem with this argument is that a fetus definitely exists. I mean, it's in
I
the
never
womb.
said it doesn't. Yeah,
It,
I
it
never said it
has
doesn't.
yeah, it has material. It's made of matter. It's made of cells. It's made of all of these things. And later
Right.
on, it has its own vital organs. So the problem is, how are you going to justify that this fetus is not existent? How are you
Yeah,
going to prove that?
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so I never said this fetus doesn't exist, right? What I'm saying is it doesn't have this mental interiority, right? And again, by mental interiority, I just be referring to like this inner life of a conscious subject, right? So I'd say early on, made this fetus lacks this early perspective or this experience or these thoughts or these feelings, right? It's not really just a body. It's really just a body or a brain, right? It's I mean, I would even argue insofar as, yeah, I don't really hold to a potential, right? So obviously, if this fetus doesn't have this mental interiority, then there is no conscious experience behind like this body, I suppose, to experience said harm, right? If an abortion occurs, then the potential person would never exist, right? And non-existence, obviously, you can't harm something that doesn't exist, right? There is no subject to experience deprivation, right? In which I'm saying you're using that this fetus is going to be deprived of something if you're claiming that's going to be harmed, which is why I said the definition of harm here doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so again, at first you stated that it doesn't exist, and now you say that
I never said it doesn't
it's
exist.
contradictory.
I
No, you
never said it
did.
doesn't
I
exist.
remember exactly when you
Did I
said
say
that
the fetus doesn't exist?
multiple
What?
times. Yeah, you did.
Did
For
I
real.
say that? No,
Chat,
wait.
chat, chat. Did she say that? Did
No,
she say that?
I feel like everyone's lying to me right now. Wait, if it's
No,
clipped,
seriously.
wait, if
Dead
it's clipped,
serious.
actually send it on
So
debate
it's
realm.
on
Wait,
clip.
I'm
Yeah,
actually
sure.
curious. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Just send it. I mean, if I said that, then sure, I could just retract that. Yeah,
All
my
right.
bad then. That'd
Now
be,
you're good. But,
um,
but
yeah,
anyways, as I was
sure.
saying, was that it definitely exists.
Yeah,
First, you
sure, we
stated that
agree
it
that it
doesn't exist.
exists. Yeah, sure,
Y-
but now we agree that it does exist.
Yeah, that's a claim
Right.
that I've always been introducing, even
Yeah,
before you stated that, and agreed to my point when you said that it does exist. Now you claim you claim this it's just my main problem with this is that you said it doesn't exist when it in fact does.
it does.
So even
The
like
fetus.
even
Wait,
if
We could just summarize. I could just summarize this really quickly for you, right? The fetus
all right,
does exist, right? I'm saying that the mental interiority, in which I defined, is just going to be the inner life that doesn't exist, right? So under that, I would have no reason, right, to accept a form of potential life, right? I could just say, sure, right? This early fetus does exist, but it does not have this mental interiority, right? There's no conscious subject that can be harmed, right? So, in links to abortion, I could just say that this potential person never exists. If this thing does not exist, then obviously it cannot be harmed, unless you're going to make the argument that something that doesn't exist can be harmed.
yeah, so I
Then
don't
sure.
hold to that ideology. Sorry to cut you off there. I hold to the ideology that if something is alive, no matter what species it is, if it's being impaired of its health or it's being if having some kind of damage to its health, then it is harmed in that subject. Doesn't matter what state it is mentally. Just the fact that a fetus is alive, it's going to experience harm if it's being impaired in some way. So
Okay.
I haven't heard a rebuttal
Closing
for that.
statements, please.
Alrighty. So would you like to go first, Cinn?
No, you can go first.
Okay, so basically
I'm
my
okay, I'm
statement is
just
that
watching.
a fetus is going to have value because it has a structural capacity to gain consciousness, rationality, and morality. It has a rational soul that allows it to have these qualities, and therefore this rational soul gives them their nature and basically their human essence. And this is their form as well that allows it to be a human being.
Okay, Cinn.
Wait, yeah, yeah. I mean that's fine. I mean obviously we didn't discuss rationalizing. There's going to be a presupposition. I would say that moral obligation is just going to arise from the fetus as a conscious subject. If this fetus isn't a conscious subject, then it cannot exist early in the pregnancy, so it cannot be harmed.
And that's fair.
Okay,
Okay.
beautiful. All right, let's do the crowd point appeal. Who do you think won?
I'm kind of scared. By the way, W debates in.
Everybody follow the host, by the way. If you like these debates. All right,
Gee, my goodness, that was close. Oh
Alright,
my.
very close. All right, what is your consensus? Determinism.
Right, I think the crowd appeal vote was not in any way, form, or any way quite really, resembling what the debate actually was. I think it was a massacre. I think the pro-choice side was massacred in this debate.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
the pro-choice side. I think that no, let me finish this up because this was like spectacular to witness, right? The pro-choice side failed to provide a clear, actual, stable definition of harm and relied on an equivocal non-identity argument that collapsed, like that utterly collapsed under just the minuscule pushback, right? So, and I have to give credit where credit's due, right? I mean, Speedster, you maintained your clarity, you maintained and you exposed the contradictions and stuff. That was
W
honestly
rhetoric
a massive.
and the
Thanks,
retraction
man.
of point
Thanks,
as
bro.
well. Cinn, I'll send that to you in debate roll.
But Cinn, better luck next time. Better luck next time for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we should have held to a better standard of definition of harm.
Thanks, guys. Seriously, thank you. And great job, Cinn. Seriously.
Yeah.
Everyone clap it up, clap it up.
Let's go. W debate.
That was a good debate. That was a good debate. That was a good debate.